Hi and welcome back to part 2 of my One Sheet Wonder series. Now, on the last episode, we chopped down our 12 by 12 into our 21 card base parts. So we have got all these in order. I'm just going to flip them over and we can start putting cards together. So, I have got pre-made card bases somewhere. They're up here. Now, I buy these pre-bought, pre-scored, and they're just a good quality card base. I just find it much easier to just have these ready to just fold, burnish, and we're ready to actually put a card together. So that's what we're going to do. So get that out of the way and get our score tool. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I will bring back in number 1 card of my set that I pre-made using the, what do you call it, Ornate Garden. So we have a base to work from, okay? So that is our card that we are going to work towards. So I'm going to just put that there, okay? Just so we have got an idea of what we're doing. I'm just going to flip that up a little bit. There we go. So that is just sitting there so we know what we're doing, okay? We have got our 2 sections. Now we can use either side. I'm going to go with the florals for this one. The florals, the flourishes or foliage, whatever you want to call them. And then we can choose a base for this. Now, let me just see if I can find it. Peonies. What's this one? There we go. Now, this is what I usually store my DSP in. I cut it down, usually to card size. I keep a couple of sheets of 12 by 12, but I haven't done it yet. But this has got me. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me, that was rude of me. This has got our colours on the bottom of it. Okay. So I'm going to keep that nearby so I've got a guide of what colours I want to be using. Okay. So I think for our first one, we will go with maybe Pretty Peacock, which is a nice deep green. Okay. So I think that this is Pretty Peacock. I hope. That one there. Yep, that looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them on like so, and then I'm just going to chop them down, okay? And that's just so that I've got a little mat laid behind it. So I'm just going to bring in my trusted liquid glue, which I just find quick, easy. Okay, so let me just... You don't need loads of glue, that's an absolute misconception. Okay, that is hundreds of glue on there. And I'm just going to bring it as close as I can so that when I go to pull it down to the size I want, I haven't actually wasted too much. Okay. And then I'm going to do the next one just over a little bit so I've got room in between both. Okay. And sorry if there's noise in the background. Jaden is trying to frighten my sister. He's on a video call to his Aunt Laura, sharing horrible videos with her to try and freak her out. Doesn't really take much if I'm fair. Right, so I'm going to bring in my little trimmer just because it's easier for me. Okay, so I am just going to lift my arm, and this has actually got a pretty nice little ruler on it, which gives you a nice matte edge anyway. So I usually tend to try and work with that. So I'm just pushing that up to where I need it to be. Don't throw any of your bits out because there is ways that we'll incorporate them at a later date. So let me just turn that just to make sure that I've got everything. There we go, so that's the first mat done. One, two, that must have been the part I cut. Three. Okay, and you can see how much I'm taking off. Virtually nothing, because I had put it quite close to where I was cutting anyway. Okay, and as I said, these larger bits, these will come in for our 1x1 squares or 2x1 squares, so don't waste them, just put them aside. Okay, right, let me just put that in my trusted rubbish pile. I'll actually bring that over closer to me. Right, so card base back in, and remember we have got artistic license here. We don't need to follow the same as what we have, so I'm going to turn it this way for this one, and we can have one there and maybe yep, I like that. So we can do it at diagonals this time, or if it had been you could have went on the angle with one and straight with another. You have got artistic license to do what you like. Okay, so I'm going to go with what I said, which is this design here. I just like the clean lines of it. So I'm just going to tip that over, bring back in my glue, and just add that on. And that might look like a lot of glue, but to be fair, I'm actually very lightly touching it. You can't even see the depth of that because there isn't really any depth to it. So I am going to bring this up here as straight as I can. You're never going to get it perfect. I did actually buy a tea ruler for putting on my sentiments because it absolutely drives me nuts. And to be fair, I haven't even really used it. So,
sorry everyone.
That's a problem with living in a close. The minute anyone enters the close, Max goes absolutely nuts.
Nuts.
Right, so we're going to put that on there, like so, and just make sure it's straight, give it a good press down, and then we're ready to put our sentiment on. Now I do have a few sentiments that I cut prior to coming live, well, prior to trying to go live before this stupid internet died on me. So I think that one I like. Okay, so I'm going to see what I can chop that down with. Let me just bring in some of my dies. Oh, I'll put them back in their wee home. which is up there. And I've got, let me see, the kind of newer ones that are not Stampin' Up. So I've got Hippo and Friends, and I know there's one of these that sits at an angle that I quite like, but I think it might even be too big. I'm just going to check. Yeah, too large. Right, so let me see what other ones I've got. So we've got Tasteful Labels. Let me see what I've got there. I have one in that I can work with. Right, I quite like that. And then I can do, that's easy to border up. So we'll work with that one. I'm just going to bring in my little sidekick. This is just my go-to die cutter that I use for my small dies as I'm working, because it's nice and light and easy to work with. So I'm just lining it up on the bottom one so it's straight. Put my top cover on and run it through. It is so simple, and it's actually quite a good die cutter. I must say it is. For what you pay for it, it is fantastic. So lift that up, put that back in its set, and we have got this here. Okay, put that in the bin, and we'll just chop a nice border around that. So bring in one of our scraps. That's good, because we're not going to waste much. Okay, and I will just cut this by eye. It's just nice and easy. So let me grab a little bit of Tombow, a little bit of glue on the back. A bit. Place it kind of central, but not overly bothered, because I'm going to just cut it by eye anyway. I think I will. There we go. And I will pop it up in a dimensional. So, right, so I'm going to use my snips if I can find them. They're in there. And what I'm going to do is just come across here and up there, off. And you can see I'm not doing much of a border, but I do want a little bit of the same colours going on. Go down that way. Turn it. And there we go. That's our little label, and we haven't wasted much, okay? That can go on there, like so. And we'll pop that up with a dimensional, okay? Let me just grab my dimensionals. And I want just one at each side for just now, because I'm going to pop quite a bit of foliage in behind it. So I don't really want loads popping out or being restricted by dimensionals. Let me just line that up a bit, like so. And then bring in our little basket of foliage. which I love. And we can go crazy now. So we have got, maybe that's a little large actually. I think we need to go with some smaller ones for this. So we've got maybe that. Now this big piece of foliage, we can cut them down, so I'm not that worried about that. I am going to just half that in two. So simple. And then I can use that like so. Then we have got this one. That's quite large. Let me just get down to some of the smaller pieces. So we've got that one, like that. And we have got this here. Like so. And then maybe, let me see, bit of garden green over here. Right, that's me. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the foliage over to this side. And it just fills in a little bit of that white space there. Okay. So I'm just taking a little bit of Tombow, and I don't want to glue up. I just want a little bit at the bottom here and a little bit on the actual stem. Okay, and we will position that just about there. Press it down. Okay, then I want the golden, like so. So again, just a little bit on bottom leaves, position it in and press down. And then our last one, same again, just a little bit at the base of the leaf and on the stem. Okay, and then we are just going to position that just there. Oops, bounced up. There we have it. So that's one side done. Then we can have this side. Let me just pull that out. So we are just adding a little bit of glue to the stem and a little bit at the bases. Okay, it just gives it that wee extra bit of support. So I'm just positioning that in. I want to pull that one over so it doesn't get covered in glue. Add a little bit onto the stem, a little bit at the base, and position it in. And I'm kind of having to go at an angle with this one because of the dimensional, but that's okay, that's it in, and I like that. And then we can put our gold on top this time. So again, just a little bit of glue on the bottom leaves. Okay. Like so. And I'm just going to put one rhinestone on, I think. So let me just see what I've got here. Most of these I have coloured using my Stampin' blends. I just absolutely love them. So I'm just going to get my Just Jade if I can. Nope, that's going with Clover. What's this one? You know what? We'll use Shaded Spruce. It's in the colour coordinations anyway, so we are all good. So I'm just going to colour a couple up here. Some really quite dark, and I'll do a couple of light ones. Okay. And with the light ones, what I can do is actually buff a bit of this off if I'm quite quick. And it actually comes up really quite light. So if I show you, you can see That's a lighter shaded spruce, and that's the darker ones. So I am just going to put one on, just to be a bit different, I think. So I'm going to just add it here, I think, like so. That's card number 1 done. Okay, and I think that's really quite pretty. And as I said, you have got artistic license, so you wouldn't know, looking at those 2 cards, that they have the same base. You've got the same 2 bits of DSP. That's where we started, and we have ended up with this, which I think is absolutely stunning. That DSP is just gorgeous, right enough. So that's card 1 done. Okay, put them aside, and we are going to pull in card 2 now. Oops. I nearly threw my lunch everywhere. So let me just pull back a bit. Where did I put my guide? It's up here. So card 2 is this one. Okay. Now I'm going to do 3 today, and then I will do 3 in the next video. I think it's just easier that way. What I will do probably in further videos is I will do the base, because it'll all be the same. I'll have shown you how to do the mats, and it then means every video after that it's just a construction video, really. So we are going to bring in our card base. Which is this. We'll give it at least 4. Set that up like that. This is for 2 bits. Now I think I'll use the stripes this time, just for something different. And let me see, I think we'll maybe go with shaded spruce actually, because that's quite a nice colour as well. It's a right rich colour. So again, the exact same idea. Nope, we can't go that way. So I am just going to glue that on, and then chop it down, and we can put a ruler. I wonder. Let me see, because I've got a few card bases done with a bit of gold in them, because I knew that the gold was going to be getting used. I think I'll do it that way for this one. So we can use that like that, and then put our sentiment on, and just a little something. Let's go with that. That looks good. I'm happy with that. Let me just see if I need to trim my base. I think it should be good. No, we're good. So I do have a couple like this done, that I will throw in there now and again. Right, so back to our Tombow. And it's just to show you that you can use either side of your DSP. You don't have to be restricted to one. And that's then going to give you more scope, because you're then going to have 21 completely different cards, because you're using basically 2 different DSPs. Right, so I'm going to go from the bottom here and just give it a little bit of an edge against that. That looks good. Give it a press down. And then the next one I will bring up a little bit. So just adding my glue, and I barely touch my glue. It is a very light pressure, just enough to get it moving. There is actually very little on it. Okay, then we are going to come up here, about that, move it in a little bit till I see where I want to be, about there. and then just give it a good press down. Okay, so we've got that. Then I have Live Forever, Live in Laughter Forever After. Do I want to bring that down here, or I think we'll go about there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just gently ink the edges of that just so it pops. Okay, so I just get new blending brushes. So what I'm doing is just when I start using a certain colour, I am just marking it on. Like so. I have used a light green, but I think I'll use Shaded Spruce to ink around that, which is a really dark green. Excuse my diet juice getting popped down. And this colour is absolutely stunning, but my gosh, it makes a mess. I actually done quite a lot of stamping yesterday with the foliage and things, and honestly my fingers were like Elphaba from Wicked. I was completely green everywhere. So just pop my blender on and just gently, I'm not too fussed about how perfect it looks, it's just to add a tiny bit of colour at the edges. So I'm just kind of flicking it on. Oops, I have got a few little hairs here that are trying to escape, so I'm just going to pick them out. Dip it again. That looks okay. Just enough to give me a little bit of colour there. So I'm just going to try and make sure these sides look a little bit more uniformed. That's a bit better. Okay, pop that back on. I can go back in. Wow, I'm not covered in ink for a change. That's a miracle. Right, put that up there, put my drift back up. Right, so that's going to go about there. Let me just give my table a little quick wipe over so I don't end up with Shaded Spruce everywhere. There we are. That's good. Right, so we are going to put that on like that, and we'll have a few bits of foliage I think coming up and about. So I'm going to just put a dimensional on either end at the moment, and I will put one in the centre once I'm done adding the foliage in, because I don't want to be restricted by it. Right, I'm going to bring this down a little bit further than I thought, because I want to use some of that larger foliage. Bring this back in, and we have got this one here. We can use, I want a light one, that one there, and that one, and maybe something like that at the front. No, we need something a little smaller. That's the same colour. Let me just flip this over and see what I've got. That's a bit better. Right, so remove all that, and we can start with this one. Now that stem is really long. Just take it off. There's no need for it to be there. It's going to be hidden anyway. So just a little bit of glue. Like so. Again, take off a bit of the foliage at the bottom. A little bit of glue at the base. And then just position it where you want it. Okay. Then we'll get this. This is quite a large piece. So I'm going to take the base off it. Like so. And I will need to add a couple of spots of glue on some of these top ones. Just so that it stays in place, because otherwise it is going to end up bashed and burst open, because it's such a open die. There's not many places that are going to be able to hold glue, except the tips. Normally I like my foliage dies to be able to move about on them, but this one I can't do that. So I'm just being careful where I hold it. And we are going to just slide it under there, like that, and then just press them down. Like so. Perfect. And then we are going to add our last little bit of foliage. Like so.
Do you know when David knows a funnel?
It'll probably be Sky, I would imagine.
Put the phone in your house.
Yeah, because it's their phone number. It was them that gave me that number, obviously. Right, and then we are going to add our last dimensional underneath that banner. So I'm just putting it on my take a pick tool, or take your pick tool, lifting it up at the bottom a little bit, putting it in and pressing down, and take my take your pick tool away. And that's it. It is lovely and dimensional. Okay. Oops. That way. But it's not too bulky. Alright. Bring back in our card base. Move our scraps out the way. Flip it over. And just glue around the edges. Like so. And that's it. And I think that's really quite pretty. And if it was for a male, you could easily just forget the foliage, not put that on, and just have a nice general banner. This is kind of more towards the feminine, but it really could be for either or. So that's our second card, and artistic license, completely different from what we had before. Okay, so that's what I mean by you can change things up. Alright, so I'm going to leave it here, I think, because we're now at over half an hour, and I've only done 2 cards. What I will do is I will come back. I think I'll maybe do 4 or 5 cards off camera, come back on, show you the 4 or 5 that I've done, and then we can make 1 or 2, and then I'll do the same the next time, so that it's not too long a series and you're able to see the process as it happens. And what I have done is at the end of the series I will be giving away a chopped down version of the One Sheet Wonder to someone who comments on my business page under the video. I will leave details nearer the end But this was the mishap that happened on Facebook. I had started cutting it down and my internet was rubbish. So I had a full set chopped up using the exact same DSP as we have been using now. So you will get the full 12 by 12 all cut down and probably add in some foliage ready for you to be able to put your cards together. Okay, so it will be like a small card kit. You will have maybe some ribbon, a couple of rhinestones. I will put a nice little package together for you. Okay, so that is something to look forward to at the end of this series. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.